How's it going? I hope you guys are having a blessed day and a blessed week. Today we start with the new chapter on Ecclesiastes. We're going through the whole book of Ecclesiastes, which is really King Solomon's writings. And today we talk about Ecclesiastes chapter 2, and in which Solomon really talks about how he experimented on his pleasures, and through that he learned that it was meaningless. So I want to really highlight on Ecclesiastes chapter 2 verse 1 through 11. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't want this video to be long, but in verse 1 through 2 he talks about, I experimented with pleasures and to try to see and see if I could find meaning in all of this. And he learned that by seeking after his desires, his pleasures, that it was just meaningless, that what will it accomplish? And in verse 3 through 10, he kind of describes of, hey, I had all these things. I had the house, I had the silver, I had the maidservants, I had the guy playing the music, you know, the rock band, whatever it was, whatever I desired, I had, Solomon says. But in the end of the road, he says in verse, I think it was in verse 9, he says, I even became the greater of all in Jerusalem. But in verse 10, you know, he says, I denied myself nothing I desired, nothing. He said, whatever I wanted, whatever I saw, whatever I touched, I could have. I mean, that's how wealthy Solomon was. But here's where I want to camp out today. In verse 11, he says, yet, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 11, Solomon says these words. He says, yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless. A chasing after the wind, nothing was gained under the sun. Solomon said, you know, I had all these things, but as I surveyed it all, as I looked at it all, it was still meaningless. I could have all these things, I could have it all, but it was meaningless. I mean, sometimes we try to fill our void in our life, you know, the emptiness inside of us with all these things, and maybe you're at that level, at that point in your life where you're chasing after the wind, or you're chasing after this stuff, or you're trying to gain all these stuff and say, maybe if I had this, that my life would be meaningful. That maybe if I had just this thing, or just this jewelry, or just more clothes, or this house, or this brand new car, that I will find my fulfillment in this life under the sun, or in this life on this earth. Here's my point, is that nothing on this earth, again, maybe I said it this past week, but I'll say it again, but maybe sometimes we need to say it twice to really let it sink into our bodies and our minds. But you will find nothing on this earth to really fulfill your life. Nothing. And I say that again, nothing is on this earth will ever fill that void in your life. Everything on this earth is meaningless. We can take it from the words of Solomon, who was the wealthiest man at this time in Jerusalem, and he gained it all. But he said, I could have it all, but as I surveyed it all, it was still meaningless. A chasing after the wind. And sometimes that's what we're doing. We're chasing after the wind. We're chasing after all these things, and we think that when we gain these things, that that's all I'm gonna need. No, right? We gain something, and we're like, man, now I want that. Now I want this. Now I want more and more and more, and there's no end to it. But at the bottom of the end, if you have Jesus not in your life, that you will never find fulfillment in your life. He is all you need. Jesus is what you need. He is what fills you up. You will never hunger for more. Once you have Him in your life, once He is part of your life, once He is part of your DNA, once He is what you hunger and thirst for, you will not go hungry or thirsty anymore. You will not need more, because He is all you need. Jesus is all you need. He is the beginning and the end, the Alpha, the Omega. And when you have Him in your life, you will not need any more things. I mean, Solomon said that I gained nothing. When I had all these things, I I was the man in Jerusalem. I was it, you know. But at the end of the day, I was still left empty. And maybe you're at that point, right? You have all these things, or you're going after these things, and my heart is that before you dig yourself more into a hole or dig yourself more into a ditch, is that from my experience and from Solomon's experience, is that, trust me on this, is that you will never find complete fulfillment in these things. You will never find meaningful life with these things. That everything on this earth is meaningless. As Solomon said, I try to go after my pleasures, I try to go after my desires, but at the end of the day, it was still meaningless. And sometimes we let our pleasures and our go after and really consume us, right? I mean, we all desire things and we all have pleasures of things, but at the end of the road, if we continue to seek after our pleasure and not seek after Jesus, we will still go in this vicious cycle of meaningless life. My heart is that as you watch this video, that you won't go after your desires or your flesh pleasures, that you go after Jesus, because He is better than it all is. He is greater than it all is. That He is all you need. So I hope this video and this message really does service in you, and I hope that you will just not take this as information, but you will take this as transformation in your life. I hope you have a blessed day, and take care, and God bless. And if there's any way I can pray for you, let me know. Take care. God bless.